There are certain words that drain the mind in ways we do not notice, words that invite inner storms even when spoken softly, words that disturb the delicate rhythm of the heart. Paramahansa Yogananda often reminded seekers that energy is not taken from us only by action, labor, or outward struggle, but also by the careless use of language. For the yogi, energy is everything. Energy is devotion, clarity, will, concentration, and the sacred fuel of our upward journey. Yogananda taught that each word we speak carries a vibration, a resonance that either lifts the soul or dims its flame. And so he gently guided students to avoid certain expressions that weaken the spirit and scatter the mind, not because of superstition, but because the inner life is shaped by the currents we allow to flow through our consciousness. Before we begin, if you enjoy this video, like the video, comment below about your thought, and don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss any video that teaching inspired by Paramahansa Yogananda. So, let's dive deep together. In the world today, people waste oceans of energy without realizing it. They wake from sleep already tired because their minds wrestled with unnecessary thoughts through the night. They begin the day with words that weigh their shoulders down. They enter conversations that only stir their fears or feed their lower nature. A life of spiritual clarity requires a refinement of speech, a quiet discipline of the tongue. Not repression, but understanding. Not forced silence, but chosen purity. For when the tongue is disciplined, the mind follows. When the mind follows, the emotions align. And when the emotions align, peace becomes natural, effortless, and self-radiant. Yogananda always emphasized that the words we speak create impressions deep in the subconscious. The subconscious is the gardener. The spoken word is the seed. What we plant repeatedly, we harvest in our moods, our habits, our courage, and even our destiny. To conserve energy, the seeker must speak words that uplift the heart, awaken calmness, and intensify devotion. Equally, the seeker must avoid words that weaken the will, disturb inner harmony, or cloud the intuitive sense of the soul. He warned against certain expressions because they are the gateways to doubt, resignation, conflict, and negativity. When the lips repeat them often enough, the mind begins to believe them, and once the mind believes them, the body, emotions, and actions obediently follow. One careless word can set the tone of a whole day. One discouraged statement can rewrite a person's self-concept. One phrase of hopelessness can drain more life force in a few seconds than an hour of physical work. Yogananda called on disciples to become warriors of self-mastery, which means guarding their energy as a sacred treasure. There are 4 words, especially, that he would often caution against: words that silently strip away inner power. When a person uses them carelessly, they unknowingly give away their strength to circumstances, fears, or the opinions of others. But when these words are avoided, the energy saved can be redirected toward meditation, divine communion, clarity of purpose, and a deep, steady joy that cannot be shaken by outward events. The first of these words relates to defeat. The moment a man or woman declares themselves beaten, even lightly or jokingly, they invite the subconscious to accept defeat as a truth. Yogananda always taught that the soul is never defeated, only the mind that loses its connection to divine will. When a person says a certain word, one that ends all effort, shuts the gate of possibility, and pulls the curtain over their inner vision, they surrender prematurely. That word kills enthusiasm. It dims hope. It dissolves the magnetic power of intention. It tells the universe, "I am not available for miracles." The seeker must be careful never to identify with failure, never to label themselves with an expression that denies the infinite power within. When such a word is removed from speech, the energy that would have been wasted in discouragement becomes fuel for perseverance. The mind naturally turns toward solutions rather than surrender. The heart becomes a quiet reservoir of courage. The second of these energy-draining words belongs to doubt. Doubt is the great thief of spiritual vitality. It enters subtly, often disguised as caution, realism, or humility. But a single word spoken from doubt lowers the inner vibration of the entire being. When you say that word, you tell yourself that the world is larger than your soul, that circumstances are stronger than your will, and that God's presence in you is insufficient to rise. Yogananda urged his disciples to replace this word with faith-directed phrases, for faith itself generates energy. The more one speaks words of confidence, the more the subconscious aligns with that confidence. The seeker's aura becomes magnetized, purified, radiant. Doubt words drain, faith words charge. If you wish to conserve energy, remove the vocabulary of doubt from your tongue, for every such expression chips away at the foundation of your own inner temple. The third word Yogananda warned about is connected to fear. Fear is natural in the early stages of spiritual life, but it is devastating when reinforced through speech. Every time a person speaks a particular word of fear, they magnify the fear itself. They make the subtle enemy stronger. When this word is used casually throughout the day, the nervous system tightens, the breath becomes shallow, and the will is weakened. Fear words are like smoke inside the mind. They obscure the clarity of intuition. Yogananda reminded seekers that the soul is eternal, untouchable, unthreatened by the small events of human life. To speak fear repeatedly is to deny one's own divine nature. Avoid the vocabulary of fear, and the mind gradually remembers its true identity, a spark of the infinite. The more you abstain from this particular fear word, the more your inner energy flows upward, unblocked, steady like a mountain stream. The fourth word relates to complaint. Complaining is one of the greatest energy leaks in spiritual life. It dissolves gratitude, the sacred magnet that draws blessings from the universe. Whenever a person speaks a certain complaint-related word, they invite the mind to ruminate on negativity. The more they ruminate, the heavier they feel. The heavier they feel, the more fatigued the spirit becomes. Yogananda observed that complaint not only drains the speaker, but also disturbs the atmosphere around them, weakening the energy of others and creating ripples of disharmony. When this particular word is removed from one's speech, gratitude has room to grow. A grateful mind vibrates at a higher frequency, attracting peace, love, solutions, and support from unexpected directions. Gratitude generates energy. Complaint destroys it. By simply refusing to use certain complaint expressions, the seeker preserves inner radiance and connects more easily with joy. Yogananda emphasized that avoiding these draining expressions is not about policing speech with tension or fear. It is about cultivating awareness of the inner landscape. The seeker becomes conscious of when they are about to speak from weakness rather than strength. They pause, breathe, and choose a different expression, not a false one, but one rooted in spiritual truth. Even a simple redirection of speech can change the entire emotional tone of the moment. In time, the vocabulary of the seeker becomes clean, refined, spiritually magnetic. A yogi's words should be like flowers, gentle, fragrant, healing. They should uplift others even when correcting or instructing. They should carry calmness even when speaking firmly. Words should be chosen with the same care as ingredients in a sacred offering. A careless word of weakness is like dust thrown into the sacred fire of consciousness. A careful word of strength is like clarified butter that feeds the flame. When a person avoids these four draining expressions, words of defeat, doubt, fear, and complaint, they begin to feel a new kind of vitality flowing through daily life. Mornings feel lighter, obstacles look smaller, relationships become smoother, the mind is less reactive, more intuitive. Meditation deepens because the subconscious is no longer holding contradictory messages. The heart opens because there is no longer so much noise within it. Energy is saved, increased, and purified. Yogananda taught that inner energy is not only for meditation. It is the foundation for success in all areas of life. A person with strong inner energy can love more deeply, work more efficiently, think more clearly, forgive more easily, and pursue dreams with greater endurance. Avoiding these draining words is one of the simplest spiritual disciplines, yet one of the most transformative. It requires no special equipment, no long rituals, no physical effort, only awareness. The beauty of this practice is that it begins with silence. When you catch yourself about to use one of these draining expressions, pause, feel the impulse. Ask yourself, does this word match my divine nature? Does it reflect my highest self? Often, the simple act of pausing saves energy. When you choose a higher expression, you strengthen your will. When your will strengthens, your consciousness begins to change. And when your consciousness changes, your entire destiny slowly follows. In time, the words you avoid become as important as the words you choose. Speech becomes a sacred instrument rather than a careless habit. You feel a new harmony with yourself. You find that other people respond differently to you. You notice that the universe itself seems to cooperate with your intentions. This is not magic, it is alignment. Energy flows where attention goes, and attention is guided by the words we speak. When your speech is aligned with divine truth, your energy becomes a quiet force of nature. Yogananda's teachings often return to one central idea: the divine lives within you. Anything that weakens your sense of connection to that divinity should be let go, including harmful words. Anything that strengthens your awareness of the soul should be embraced. This is the path of inner mastery. A seeker who avoids these 4 draining expressions steps into a new way of living. Their energy rises naturally. Their mind becomes a calm lake. Their heart becomes a vessel of compassion. They begin to move through the world with an aura of quiet confidence. They become a magnet for peace, love, and opportunity, not because they force it, but because their inner vibration attracts it. To save your energy, protect your speech. To protect your speech, refine your awareness. To refine your awareness, remember who you are. A spark of the infinite, eternal, powerful, and already whole. Let your words honor that truth, and your energy will never betray you.